Well, what's going on, YouTube? I'm doing a little maintenance today. I had to pull all the batteries back down. Also wanted to make sure that the levels were all where they're supposed to be at. I overfilled them a little bit last time, so they kind of, so kind of the battery acid got all over the place, and when they started charging and equalizing and such, they start to expand the water out. So nothing bad other than you got to clean it up a little bit. But what I'm doing today is I pulled it all down because I'm installing a shunt for a battery meter. Now this is that three-quarter inch copper plumbing tube pipe, and what I did is I just put the shunt in here. So the bottom section is going to be where the three sections hook up down there, and then I got an extra bolt down there in case I want to add something else to it or whatever. But I added this shunt. It's 350 amp, 350 or 500 amp. I don't know, more than I'm ever going to pull off of this bank. And then up here is going to be my loads. And so I had to take this down. I went and took it out to the garage and drilled those holes, sanded them down, DIY style stuff. And then on this side, what I'm going to do with this bar, I also cut this one. And so I'm going to run a cable from here out to a master switch, and then a cable from here out to the master switch. So I'll be able to disconnect the charge controller and the inverter from this bar from the battery bank, so the battery bank won't have anything going to it at all. Now on this side over here right now, I do have a cutoff switch here that I got for just the inverters, but it leaves the charge controllers hooked up. I also need to get a DC disconnect panel set up on here for the solar wire coming in here, so that way I can disconnect these from the charge controllers. And yeah, so I'll show you this is the meter here, and what this will do is we'll put that in the wall there, install it so the wire's behind the wall. And what this thing does is it kind of tells you your battery bank in layman's term, like a gas tank gauge. It reads how many kilowatts or how many amp hours, whatever, are going in the battery and are coming out the battery, and it counts that, and then you program it to set, well, my battery bank should have 300 amp hours usable power, and it'll also tell you how much amperage is being used coming out of the battery bank for powering the house, or how much amperage is going in, and it zeroes out. So say I'm charging it, the batteries are getting 60 amps of charge, but I'm using 60 amps out the inverter. Well, this will basically say, hey, is 0 amps going in and out of the battery at this time. But it'll have a 1 to 100% gauge on it, so the rest of the family, it's real easy for them to come down and say, oh, how full is the battery bank? Oh, it's got 27% battery life in it. So from that point, I'm gonna probably put these up for sale. They got a lot of life left in them. I just went through and let them settle after a full charge, and I ran a voltage across all of them. They're all within 6.34 to 6.41. So that's pretty good voltage. They're all very healthy still. I didn't even use them last year at all off grid. They sat on they sat idle, at a full charge. So they only really have one summer, the summer before last. So it would have been 2018. I actually used them for an entire summer off grid then, and they're more than enough, up here in the summertime, because I get damn near like 16 hours of sunlight in the summer. But they're not enough to pull me through the winter, which is why I got to go back on the grid in the winter. So what I want to do is I'm probably going to put these up for sale, and I'm gonna I have some leads on some used lithium iron phosphate batteries that I believe are going to be able to pull me through the winter and take a high rate of charge. See, the problem with the lead acids is you can't throw everything I got in power at them in the charge rate, because it'll drain the battery, the lifespan of them. So I got a trip. Basically, when I got 5 kilowatts of solar coming in, I could charge it over 100 amps of juice in this, approximately 100 amp, but they're only really rated for a charge rating of about, I think it came out to about 68 amps is what all my configuration was going to be. So basically these two sides, you know, I got limited down to 34 amps a side. So in the winter months, that's where it'll really pay off if I have lithium iron phosphate, is because the days are much shorter, and so you don't want to waste any of that time that you could be charging the batteries. You want to be able to suck every single watt that's coming in on the panels and dump them right into batteries and make the best use of for them, because you're going to get like 5-6 hours of sunlight up here in the daytime or in the winter time, and maybe only 3 or 4 that's going to be usable solar, and that's when it's sunny. So you really have to, you know, buckle down on your solar usage in the winter months up here, whereas the summer it's feast or famine, right? You know, 4 months out of the year it's absolute famine on solar, and then 4 months out of the year it's feast, and then the other, you know, 4 months. Sorry, duh, my math is all screwed up there. But so yeah, that's what I'm looking at. What else? What else here? These shelves seem to be holding up fine. I gave them a paint job after I leaked a little bit of battery acid on them, so dried them up with a dehumidifier over there in that corner, and then got the router hooked up. So now that my router is hooked up to the Midnight Classic 200s, I'm able to go on the Midnight Classic app on my phone and see all the information except for what this meter that I'm going to put up here is going to show. Now, they do have an option where I could buy, it's about twice the price of what I'm getting in on this thing. Actually, it's probably about triple after all said and done with the shunt and the meter. But there is a device that makes it convenient that you can add a shunt like I'm doing down here, and then that wires into the charge controllers. And then what's nice is the charge controllers basically tell you almost everything. They tell you how much power is coming in and out, how much you're charging them with the wattage, how many kilowatt hours you brought in solar, how many kilowatt hours you use. And so instead of having a separate meter up here, everything is tied into here. It's not as user friendly. So like I say, if I tell the kids, hey, go downstairs and, you know, look for dad at the battery meter, this is just going to be like a 1 to 100% battery meter, super simple to read, and but it's a whole nother, you know, system except for the one that you could tie into this. So, and it's a lot cheaper to do this separate system. You know, I'm looking at what, 30, 35, 40 bucks for this with the shunt, and then for the Whiz Bang Junior, I think you're looking at well over $100 with the shunt, and they're maybe not well over, but yeah, definitely getting up there. So that's all I got. Update for you guys today. And we'll, sorry for the shaky camera. I'm sitting here rambling and babbling to you, but I'll update you more when I get all this wrapped up and proper and we're off grid again. So thanks.